All right, we are live. Hello, good morrow. Um, I don't know if is morrow a word? Sounds British. Sounds like it's short for tomorrow, and that wouldn't make sense because it's today, right now. Good morrow, I say to you. Good morrow, good sir. All right, we're off to a great start here. Let's see, is it this one? No, this one's just a prop. My video looks like I'm an SD today. All right. So I hope you're having fun on your run, and it's quite miserable as always. It's raining. There's a thunderstorm and some lightning strikes near you, but not you don't get hurt. And a tree collapses and you're still safe. And then you think, oh my God, thank God I'm alive. And I'm grateful that I'm out here running and I'm not injured. I'm gonna go hug my kids. Hope that's the case for you today. So today's topic is going to be coaching. I don't I know I love coaching because I'm a coach now and I love coaching. Your boy Midlife Wanka. He's a coach now, certified, but I know other people probably don't care about coaching as much. We could talk about running shoes and other things that if you know. So I know the only way to find out is to talk about it. Just see how many people actually show up or don't show up or comment or whatever. So um coaching. I want to address what it looks like for my coaching. I want to shed some light on it. I want to add some color. All right, pick your favorite podcast cliche. We can say that. Yeah, let's go ahead and unpack this. Let's double click on Stride and Shine. And guys, I really wish I was a true wordsmith of the highest order, and that when I was talking in regular conversation, I didn't even have to think about throwing in a word like tertiary, right? Like, because for me, I have to think, I have to stop. Like in my brain, I picture there's like a filing cabinet for my senior year English class vocabulary. And I'm just I'm sifting through the words and I'm like, let's see here. Germain. No, that one doesn't apply. Irrelevant. Actually, germane is germane. Anyway, yeah, that's not the case. And I'm not trying to flex on the people with my vocabulary. Anyway, coaching. Coaching is twofold. It's it's three pence, it's four score. It's Ben Folds 5. Guys, I didn't sleep a whole lot. This is what my brain does when I don't sleep a lot. It's just all over the place. It's very, very squirrely. Um, so yeah, and like I said, you guys can just comment and then I'll stop because I'll probably end up talking about coaching for an hour if you don't shut me up. So if you want to tell me what you ran today, what workouts you've been running, like because if you're like I did 6 easy miles today and you're like, yeah, that's kind of boring, but you did like some mile repeats yesterday and that sounds more exciting and you want to throw in your splits, by all means do it or what you were running in so we can tangent into some shoe talk. I did yes, today was easy miles. So I'm gonna throw yesterday I 10 by 400 M. Sounds for meters. These were done at mile pace, the old Jack Daniels R. And I think I put down Jack Daniels would say R and I would say F me because that was a hell of a workout. In the heat and in the humidity, it's not so bad because the reps are done in 75 to 80 seconds if I'm doing them correctly. So it's sharper pain, but it's over suddenly, and the heat and humidity it doesn't have a time to eat at you like in threshold runs or longer duration runs. Anyway, I ran in the Nike Streak Fly 2. Whew, man, what a shoe. Well, that's one of my favorite of the year for sure. Top 3. I saw a review from Andrea of Doctors of Running, and she co-signed it. So it's official. Even though it's 4 foot, midlifers deluxe. I love it. She also I listened to another podcast they did. She did with I think it was Matt on the Brooks Hyperion Max 3. And she didn't like it as much as he did, which means I don't like it as much as he did either, because we're on the same page. I'm not going to waste my time. If Brooks wants to send me shoes, I'll run in the shoes, hands down, and then we'll see for sure. But I'm here for the midfoot. So before we get into the coaching, let me see who is in here. Polar's in here. What's up, gangy? He said, you should do a troll review of the Bondi 9 and make it sound like the best shoe ever created, please. Wrong answers only. Bondi 9 shoe of the year. I should. I see those go up on the Supwell app all the time. And since it has 9 in the name, I get so excited. I'm like, somebody is selling a shoe with US size 9. And then it's like, no, Bondi 9. I had the Bondi 6 for like 3 years before. There was no need for the Bondi 7 because it was just such a big behemoth of a shoe and it lasted forever. Didn't run a whole lot in it. It's a little bit too much for my ankles, but I loved it for work. And I put in so many. I probably put 1,000 miles in that shoe just walking around. But yeah, haven't tried the Bondi. Heard good things. Andrew Chosen here says, I want to hear about your coaching. All right. Michael Kim, he says, what's up, coach? What's up, MK? So Michael can answer all your questions, Andrew. JBS is in here. He says 2-mile warm up, 6 times 800 meters, 1 mile cool down. Shoes, the old Fast R2s. Temp was mid, but wind was high 17 miles per hour. Wow. Yeah, good headwind will slow you down. Track keeps you honest too, I think. So with the old 800s. I think I might have 4 of those mixed in next week. So in a bursting phase currently, this is a little bit about the coaching. So bursting phase it's what I'm calling it, guys. I don't have a method. This isn't the midlife method of coaching. People are like, oh, this is the Norwegian, this is the easy interval, this is the Scandinavian method, this is whatever, right? Like you get certified. They figured out periodization a long time ago. And the thing is, guys, nobody has a trademark on this stuff. Okay. So like nobody's sitting here trade TMing the hills. Okay. Like Jack Daniels doesn't get to say hills are mine. And Lydiard is like, no, I invented the hills. Okay. God created the hills. Okay. And on the 7th day, he rested. So you don't need to run every day, by the way, guys. Hot take. If God can rest one day, so can you. Anyway, what was I talking about? Bursting. Okay, Jack Daniels, pyramid. You build a base, and then you have your race specific goal at the top, and then you inverse your way there. So I'm a midlifer. I work with midlifers mostly. I'm a marathoner. I like marathoning. I work with a lot of marathoners. So what it looks like is largely the same for me and a lot of my runners. In principle, the base is built, and then you start with the fastest, the bursting, the speed. Then you work your way towards the speed endurance all the way to your race specific stuff. But the bursting, this one gets overlooked, not by JD. Okay, Jack Daniels is like he's a burster. He's got the R. He's got the FR, right? Because the thing about Fitzinger and Jack Daniels is that they're goddamn Olympians and they work with the fastest people in the world. They're so fast. And like you see their K repeats, and it's like that's a 3-minute rep for them, holy smokes, right? That for a sub 3-hour marathoner, that's an 800 rep. I mean, so it's just, I'm not a very big I guy. In the bursting phase, it's a lot of R, right? But then they work with like 800 meters. So if you ever pull up the VDOT and you see like FR, it's like the fast reps. For me, I'm like, I could do that once. That is my rep. That's my 1 rep max, my 1 RM. It's because that's for like 800 runners. And so, anyway, bursting. So you're bursting in shorter durations and in shorter intervals. Hill sprints, it looks different for everybody depending on what you've been doing. But, fartlek 1 minute on, 1 minute off, 2 minutes on, 1 minute off, focusing on plenty of recovery in between running economy, running form. It's a lot of good stuff. And for people, another principle that I believe in is doing a lot of or doing something that you haven't been doing. Now, I don't have a say in it. Like if somebody comes to me and says, I signed up for this race, I'm not going to be like, yeah, but I'm going to tell you a story. We're going to do a half marathon instead. No, it's like I'm going to get you ready for the race that you want to run, but we're dealing with certain parameters. Anyway, the bursting is what I'm currently doing for another 4 weeks before I'm moving into what I'm calling a bridge build. And that is just connecting the dots between the bursting and then the race specific. Again, this is all I'm just putting names on things that already exist. Okay, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. Really, what that looks like is a half marathon build. And guys, I'm putting out a video on Friday on the stuff. So I'm going to document the process. I'm going to talk about it as part. So I'm going to still do shoes, but as I cover the training, I'll talk about it in like coaching terms. And then next week I'll cover something with the bursting stuff. So the R work that I did yesterday was 75 seconds. So that it was 400 meters, and I don't know if I've run faster. I got paced by a guy who was there. Focused by Johnny. That was his IG. He saw that I had a camera. So we started talking. He's a young buck. He was in college. And he wanted to see if he could match me from the 200 to 300 meter. And so he was sprinting, but he really was pacing me. He didn't know. So like late in it, I was like, now I get it. Now I get why people run in packs and pace. Andrew Cho says, I did hills intervals today, the first week of quality work after ITB injury. Oh, man. What did you do for the ITB, Andrew? Somebody was asking me, our friend Chris Minto, about ITB, and I told him what I did. I said, I'm not a PT. You should probably go to a PT. But this is kind of how I do. I do like my little clamshells and my other stuff. But what did you do for that? Stevie76 says, Bromka recently learned coaching app Runna doesn't incorporate the age of the athlete to tune its algorithm, which just sums up the state of AI coaching to me. Well, if we're going to talk about Runna, like I wear AI stuff. Like I'm not, guys, just because I came a coach, I'm not sitting here saying you should get a coach. You shouldn't get a coach. You should do whatever you want to do. God gave us free will. Please exercise it. Flex on the world, your will. Force it upon us, please. I've not had a coach. I've had training plans, and I've had a coach. Now, here's the deal. I had plans. Sometimes I got mixed results because the plan never goes to plan. One thing I like about having a plan is that I purchased it from a person who made it and they get the money. So like I'm supporting Sage Candidate or higher running or Sandy Nightpaver by buying a higher running training plan for the Chicago Marathon. So that's the good news about that. But when it's not working, I don't have Sage in my pocket to be like, well, this and that, whatever, like redirect me with his years of experience coaching. That's why a coach would be better for me as a beginner who's not knowing what he's doing, right? Because the last thing that I should be doing probably is coaching myself. There's nothing wrong with coaching myself, except there's going to be a whole lot more trial and error involved. I'm going to learn the hard way versus I hired a coach locally. I PR'd my half. I PR'd my full. Wow. Then I went back to coaching myself, got a McMillan plan, did some other stuff, wasn't really working out, hired a coach again. I PR'd my half, I PR'd my full. It just kept me more focused. But there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. And these AI apps, I've never done it. So I can't speak to it. I'm not going to say that, like, how could I'm not taking a dump on running. Like, if you do Runner, that's great. I know Kafuzi's sponsored by Runner, doing the Runner app stuff, and that's cool. To my knowledge, you're still self-coaching, because I know that there's things you can toggle off and on. You could say, like, if you're traveling, or you can say this, or to your strengths, or to that, or if it's too much. So essentially you are getting feedback, but you're coaching yourself again. Some people can coach themselves and do really well, and they just get better. They get faster. It works really well for them. They never need a coach. They take all of the information widespread across the internet and they make it work. I'm not one of those guys. I'm too impulsive. My squirrel brain goes, "Oh, double T." I'm not a fan of that phrase. Who says that? Rory Linkletter? Double T. I know. Well, T is, again, that's a Jack Daniels thing. Tempo. God forbid we say tempo. It's threshold. I don't. I'll just start doing that. I see stuff about race weight, and I'm like, yeah, let me how to do that. How to. I see something else. I'm gonna. So, like, coaching helps keep me focused, because there's a balance board in a third person. So, like, I certainly have benefited from that, but not everybody needs a coach or anything. Luis Becerra's in here. He says, "Hello, everyone. What's up, Luis? Jokes, Luis. They are included in my plans. They kind of come with the territory. If I'm coaching you, you get jokes." So, Colin Brown's in here with his run, MLR, which does not stand for midlife runner. It stands for medium long run. 12 miles with 9 steady. It's giving what it gives. It gives McMillan. It gives maybe Fitzinger. Sam's in here. Slow, easy run in the Glizzy Max. Miles 6 to 9 on a treadmill for a brief 30 minutes today. You had me at Glizzy Max, Sam. You did it right. Everything about your run was correct, because you ran in the Glizzy Max. That shoe is so good. I'm like 230, 240 miles into it. Andrew Cho wants to know, Streak Fly or the Takumi Sen? It's the Streak Fly. The Takumi Sen has been dethroned. It had a three-peat with the 8, 9, and 10. I don't know about the 11. So we'll see, but because it's 2025. But I know that the Streak Fly absolutely terrorized it. Stevie 76. So, okay, methods. Well, I said I don't have the midlife method, but the JBS says the midlife method. That's good. Stevie 76 has said the San Antonio method, and I like that. The San Antonio method. That means that after your morning run, you eat breakfast tacos. You have to, with a little extra salsa. So, you carb load with churros the day before a long run. So we definitely have to do that. Panos is in here. He says, "Hey, midlifers, tell us about your coaching." Andrew. Okay. So back to the coaching. Let's see. What did I write down? Other than you don't need a coach, like you don't need 800. I don't need 821 pairs of running shoes, but I got those also. But that's just like me, and I don't know how much time I have left. I don't want a whole bunch of trial and error perfectly. So, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that the reason I wanted to make this video, or talk about this, is because, like, I saw Floberg became a coach, and then I don't know anything about Floberg as a coach, only as a runner and as a photographer and a cinematographer. He is somebody who's very talented. So it's like, well, he followed a Fitzinger plan, and then he also, Jeff Cunningham is his coach. So is he basically regurgitating that? And then I watch Midlife Runner on the internet, and he's signed up with Matt Fox. Now he's a coach. So, like, am I getting somebody under the Matt Fox umbrella? He's coaching just like Matt Fox? The answer is no. But I think the you take elements of everything, kind of like the hill repeats. If I have hill repeats, it's like, oh, Matt Fox had hill repeats. So did Arthur Lydiard and Jack Daniels and whoever else. Like nobody trademarks the hills. So it's kind of like we're all standing on the shoulders of giants. Periodization was not invented by Arthur Lydiard, but it was certainly made popular by him. So we can talk about some of the principles of coaching that I kind of believe in, and some of them also mirror other people. So Michael Kim says exactly, Fitz programs are for sub 15:30 5K runners. Yeah, that's fast. And I feel like a lot of those guys, including Jack Daniels, they work with track people. And so they're track, and there's just a lot of speed stuff. And I heard Monday Kafuzi was saying a couple things. One, I think in that live stream he was talking about it's talking about age and slowing down. And Jack Daniels said that he, in his equivalency charts, is still at the same equivalent for his age. So he slowed down, but comparatively is the same. He's at his ceiling still for that. And he also said Thursday he's not doing a live stream, which made me think, hey, you know what? I'm off tomorrow. Why don't we do like my favorite shoes of the year? And we could just do another live stream. And I think I could slide it to 1:00 into the spot that he normally does a live stream, just in case anyone's bored and wants to come do a live stream in the middle of the day. Frank's in here. He says, so a slow 15. No, man. Easy 15. Easy 15. So, man, that must have been a long run. Another MLR, another midlife runner. Frank says, it isn't terribly obvious to me what impact age of the athlete should have on a training plan. Well, I was thinking about it when Kafuzi mentioned the age thing, and I think perhaps is like it needs to factor. It would have to also factor in running age. I didn't start running until I was 40, but my running age was like 0. So I still feel like I have not as much lifetime miles or fatigue on the legs, but I don't know. I don't know how they would quantify the age and factor that in. So lots of algorithms. So all right, one of the things that I'm big on is RPE 1 to 2, like not rate of perceived effort as 1 to 2, like just on the brisk walk. Yeah, we do a lot of brisk walking here in the San Antonio method. We don't like to run down here in San Antonio, but like leaving 1 to 2 reps in the tank for sure on your workouts, especially during the majority of the season, and not really pushing into maximizing the workouts until you get closer to your peak weeks and stuff. So, but that's a common principle. I think Jack Daniels describes that as like the least amount of work required for the result that you're going for. So if you can run 4 threshold miles and get the stimulus you're looking for, there's no need to run 6 just for the ego or to prove something. So definitely easing into it to make sure that our weeks are repeatable and consistent so we can stack the mileage rather than trying to be a hero. But Rob Thompson's in here. He says, word up, y'all. Next week in earnest is week 18 for my build up to Detroit, using the 2Q Jack Daniels program for a 65-mile peak plan with gym twice weekly. Well, thanks for checking in, Rob. Here's a problem with me self-coaching. I'm going to go back to when I first started. I ran around my neighborhood. I wanted to see how far I could run. I ran 11 miles and then I got tired, but then I knew that 13.1 was a thing. So I finished it. I slowed way down, hit the wall. I was only drinking Gatorade. It was in the evening. showered, went to bed, woke up in the middle of the night with sweats, cold sweats. I was like, I'm never doing that again. That was terrible. It was miserable. And of course, I did do it again. My sister told me, people train for these things, and I didn't know that. She goes, my brother-in-law recommends, her husband recommended this book. It's a Hanson Half Marathon. And my ego hopped it. So I read this book, and it's got plans in it. It's got beginner plans, intermediate plans, and then you pick your paces. I was like, this is my target goal if I was going to go for something. And my easy pace matches because my easy pace is like 9 minutes a mile. I would later come to find out after doing the Maffetone method much later that my easy pace was probably 10-15 a mile and not 9 minutes a mile. Also, on the plan that I got to select, I naturally chose intermediate and not a beginner plan because although I had never run a race before, I had already run 13 miles around my neighborhood. I was not a beginner anymore. That's this problem, right? Is that I signed up. I think, yeah, I can handle way more than I actually can. So I do like that the Jack Daniels programs give you space for easy miles as much as you like. So anybody with ITB syndrome, let's see. Andrew Cho says he did a lot of stretching, clamshells, lateral band walks. They definitely helped. Now I stretch before I run. Okay. So glute med work. Glute med work. Tiff is in here throwing some shade. That's why you ran a marathon during training, impulsive. That's why I need a coach. I had a coach and I still did that. But you know what? I talked to my coach about it. It's like, Rob Thompson says stretchy is sketchy, I thought they say. Well, to my knowledge, passive stretching is not good before you run, but active stretching, dynamic warm-ups, they're trending. I like to do like the soldier kicks. And then I do clamshells. I don't do the leg swings. I don't use the momentum. I know they look kind of ridiculous, but I do those. And then I do lunges and air squats and other things. So Ken Gifford's in here, and he says, Floberg coached me. I would say he mirrors Jeff Cunningham's approach more than Fitz. 307 guy here. Awesome, Ken. Thanks for sharing how it went with the man, with the soon-to-be sub 230 guy. Oh, here's another thing, too. It's like, I don't think it's necessary that your coach has to be faster than you. But like in my head, it really mattered when I was getting started. So my first coach is a 240 guy. And he was local, and he would come down and he would pace me at the track. And he always looked like he was jogging sub 6 paces. He's just running right in front of me, just jogging. Just like, God, man, he made it look so easy. And then Matt Fox is obviously a sub 220. I don't know what he ended up running, 216, 218, something like that. So, yeah. But here's the deal, guys. On the workouts, leaving some in the tank and just not doing these massive workouts are sexy. My ego likes those. They're big. I like the big ones, right? I'm like, can I do that? And I love seeing it. In fact, those videos get a lot of views if they're like these 5K mile workouts, 5K workouts, this workouts. Everyone's like, ooh, let me see those. And some training plans feel like a mixed bag, just like a potpourri of everybody's greatest hits. Like here's some Yasu 800s and here's this Canova workout and here's this whatever. But is it inching you along in a manner that is progressing the overload for you specifically so that you're getting faster? Like you're doing a little bit more than you were before. But here's also why. You can't handle these whopper Jeff Cunningham Bat City workouts if you're not running the supporting mileage to do it, if you're not like the workload required to go from like a 5-hour marathon to a 4-hour marathon is a lot less than going from, or just what is required to run a sub 3, what is required to run a 220, right? And so all of the mileage supports the workout. And the bigger these big workouts, so you'll see, like I saw one on IG for Bat City, and Jeff Cunningham does them. A lot of people do them. Like, you see the Kenyan workouts. They're out there for 2 hours sometimes. It's crazy. Just doing ladders of mile 1600 and then 3x400 and 1200 and then 3x400 and all of this stuff. And for somebody with 4 kids working 3 12-hour days in a row, running 45 to 50 miles a week, that's just going to get them injured in all likelihood. And it's just too much, right? But a coach has that understanding. If I'm coaching myself, I'm probably going to try to give myself some of that and end up injured, which I have plenty of times before in the past. So, all right, let's see who else is in here. Luis Becerra regarding age, RE semicolon age in response to. He says, I don't feel that I'm slowing down, but the recovery can take a lot longer. Yeah. We just got another dog, guys. He's a yapper. We'll see. It hasn't cut into my sleep. This is why I bring it up, because I was thinking about my sleep. But yeah, no, definitely do require more recovery time as you get older. Philip Watts says, sorry I'm late. Was buying another pair of Brooks Hyperion Max 2 that were discounted this month, as the 3 are coming out in July. Ran a 5K on Sunday in the old Max 2 and placed second for my age group. Oh, congrats, Philip Watts. I keep forgetting to bring my little bell up here. That's awesome. So yeah, in this discussion between, and the doctors are running. So my understanding is that I have the Brooks Hyperion Max 1, lightweight shoe. I love it. It's great. And that the Hyperion shoe, not the Max 2, was more like that shoe. And that's like Hyperion Max 3 is more, it's got PIBA and it's more like a super trainer. And it's heavier and it's going to bounce you along. And so we'll see. I have some threshold tomorrow, and I was going to take out the Zoomfly 6 because I've been loving that shoe. Such a good shoe. But I also want to take out the Mach X2 because I only have 35 miles in that. And I've done a lot of steezy in it, but I haven't hit too many workouts in it. So I want to check that out. Shane Malaski's in here. He says, Coach slowed down because of his career. Yeah, I can't imagine trying to train and travel as much as he does and get everything. But he seems to be getting faster on his 5K stuff. So we'll see. Hopefully he can PR. I think I was listening to some of the workouts. Okay, here's another one, guys. Minute hill repeats. I'm probably gonna say, for the people, like if I'm working with midlifers, I'm bursting for 20 seconds. I'm bursting for 10 seconds, max 30. I know bursting at a certain point when we're going a minute on a hill. Again, it feels like more like a workout for an 800 runner in the off season, working on their strength endurance. And I don't know about the high end velocity necessarily on that. So like, I probably would not prescribe. I'm not taking a dump on Runna. I wouldn't prescribe that. It's somebody's still going to get benefits from it, I'm sure. I mean, I could be wrong, guys, so, but that's a lot. Minute hills. So Uh, Frank says, my running age is about the same as your real age. All right. I'm not, I know Martha's usually in here with the, the age adjusted. I need to find the website for that. Like, it's just like on a rainy day, I could be like, yeah, I ran this, but it is this, and I feel like the age definitely would probably that didn't make sense, impact the high end stuff, power output, peak performance, or like when is the I thought those sprinters, they probably peak at 28, 32, somewhere around there. I'm not sure exactly. Age is a thing though. I mean, Kipchoge still isn't the fastest guy in the world. At some point, he has to slow down, you know. Um, so Stevie76 says up and coming football coaches get credit if they're from this Nick Saban coaching tree. It's true. And they do the same thing with Popovich. And they're like, Popovich is the tree of the NBA, and everybody comes from this pedigree of the stuff. So I mean, I guess it would be like not so bad if you hired Floberg and he was Jeff Cunningham, but then he was more affordable. You're like, oh yeah, I get this. So Eric Paramond says exactly that Luis Becerra, you can do the same type of training runs, but the impact of a single large 20 plus miler is a bit different. After 50, especially. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. That's my brain is just going. Okay, so the bursting phase. I'm going to talk. I said this last week. Okay, not okay. I think when somebody says I want to do a 5K block, what they really mean is I want to get faster. And I know summer of speed is trending. Summer of speed trending. 5K is trending. We got to do the 5K. And so taking somebody right into not 5 by K because it's usually like as you get closer to the race, but just really long intervals at high speeds. And they're not there yet because it's like, yeah, okay, cool. I got this 5K training plan. It's 8 weeks, and we're just going to go really run hard once a week. Um, it can definitely work, but like I said earlier, sometimes those 1,200-meter intervals for or 1K repeats for really fast runners like 3 minutes. And for someone slower, you're not supposed to be like, even if you're doing like the Norwegian 4x4, it's like this, like 4 minutes. So you shouldn't be doing like I think one time I did 5 by 1 mile, and they were supposed to be VO2 max. And I was like, that's 6 minutes each though. It's 30 minutes of eye running. It's a little too much. And I got shin splints a couple times. So anyway, bursting does not have the duration of the speed endurance. So, and I think what would be beneficial is a half marathon block. And the first part of that is still speed oriented as you get into extending that with threshold and 10K work. And then you get race specific. It's like 10K half marathon. And the half marathon is more indicative of the marathon, assuming that the runner is trying to train for the marathon, which in my case, it's there. It's a lot. Let's see. I'm behind, guys. Stevie76 says coach midlife versus coach Jeff Cunningham yelling contest. Like Jeff Cunningham's going to win every single time. It's kind of easy when you sound like Matthew McConaughey. I could listen to that guy talk about botany. Tell me about, I can't think of a plant, chrysanthemums. Tell me about these magnolias, coach. I would listen to him and be like, fascinating. If he had a channel where he just got on the mic and started talking, and I could probably ASMR myself to sleep, just be like, all right. Eric Paramount says, I love the one on, one off repeats, and I'm 54. Do it uphill, and yes, it's slower, but then it's getting more specific for what I do. Yeah, just run elevation and for 100 miles. Yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, like race specific stuff, guys. I know like on the internet, if you say something, then everyone's like, no, that's not my experience. Or they say the opposite for you because it's what you're not saying. So it's just like very gaslighting. Oh, you're not supposed to run 5K work. Well, I said this. I went to the track. There was a guy running. He was a midlifer in his age group. His name was Patrick, and he was training for a 5K because he was going to go represent. Like he was trying to run a sub 17, and for his age group, that would put him in like the nationals category. That dude should totally run 5 by K, right? Like and do 5K specific stuff because like that's his jam. But like 5K is synonymous with speed work for marathoners. So people are like, oh, I got to do a 5K if I get faster at the 5K, but it doesn't necessarily translate. And then so like another one of the things that I'm thinking is like, if you come to me and you say, like, I have all the time in the world and I want to get faster and I want to run a marathon, it's like, okay, let's get fast. Let's extend that speed into like a half marathon block. Whatever you peak and run that half marathon, then let's jump into a marathon block. We're not going to be trying to get a whole lot faster. We're going to be trying to run a marathon. We're going to be turning the body into a Rivian, not a Tesla. Okay, we're turning it into a Rivian. We're extending the amount of fitness. We do not want to be 5King like a Mustang Cobra GT 5.0. We're not trying to be a Ferrari. We're trying to be a Rivian. Okay, we're going to practice the fueling. We're going to practice just turning into as efficient at marathon pace as possible, and just based on the speed that we've already kind of built. But the focus would be more about moving your threshold and more about excelling at a half marathon, just more indicative to the marathon. So, yeah. Similarly, I'm not anti 5K, guys. I'm not anti 5K. But if you came to me and you said, Coach, like, let's start working together, right? I would say, don't go out and run a 5K as hard as you can, so that I know where you're at. Right? If you've just run a race, cool, you can tell me that. But I would say let's take 2 weeks, and in those 2 weeks we're gonna run just about every kind of workout. We're gonna run workouts that are gonna cover every range of pace. So there might be a little aura in there, right? Some bursting, a little bit of ice, some threshold. I'll have a long run. We're going to have a long run with some pace. Okay. So hold on a second. So basically, you're going to see everything for everyone, every range of pace. So then you'll get an idea. Okay, they should all match relatively, right? You should be able to say, like, here's mile pace, here's threshold pace, here's marathon pace, based on the efforts. So I will say also that I'm effort oriented, but I'm not like, this is the way. This is not the midlife method. This is not whatever. Because what I've discovered is that I benefited greatly from switching to effort personally. But it's good to dial that in. But as I work with newer runners, they don't necessarily have a grasp on pace or effort. So they don't even really know kind of where they're at. But if they have a good gauge of it, then they could say, like, pace kind of keeps them true. It solidifies where they should be. So they say, oh, okay, cool. If I don't know, I'm going to be running to this pace. I'm going to see if I can hold this pace for whatever. Kind of helps them know where they are. And then they can focus on the effort while they do that. Whilst they do that. Let's see. Man, I'm so far behind. Philip Watt says, "Yep, I will buy the Max 3 for my super training and use the Max 2 as my speed interval 5K race shoe. Hyperion 3 looks like the Max 2 without a plate, just like the Max 1 and Hype 2." All right. Rich P says, "Late to the party. Glad I made it. Was wondering what your feelings are about the coaching plans you can do on Garmin." I haven't done a Garmin training plan. I work with a guy who did do some Garmin training plans. I would think that any AI or Garmin or those plans, they're programmed by people, and I would imagine that they would pull from what is available and the information on the internet that would say like, "Hey, we're not going to put hard days back to back very often, if at all." And and then those things, I don't know about Garmin, but I know like Run is intuitive. So you say like, "This is easy, I can handle more," and all of those things. So you can adjust it. But if it gets you running and you follow it, I'm not sure how much different a Garmin plan would be versus a Coros plan or a plan that you could purchase from a coach on the internet. So Frank says, "For a lot of people, the fastest they ever are for like a 5K is at the end of a marathon block." Yeah. One of the fastest 5Ks I ever ran was after building an aerobic base bigger than I ever had. And I was able to sustain a fast pace for a longer time. Philip Watt says, "I have the Baltimore 10 miler this Saturday. Then I start half marathon training for the fall, half September, full Thanksgiving weekend." Jeff Horowitz training, 1 day hills track, long day race pace day, may add a fourth day of easy running, but I killed myself running 5 days a week for shorter 5K to 10-mile training. Oh, man. Yeah, because then and also it's individualized, guys. So there are, I said this last week too, but like Steve Magnus made a video where he was talking about Snell and then saying like some guys can run like 100-mile weeks and still have the gas for an all-out mile and just do really well. And then other people, they like cross train for 20 hours a week, run 7 miles a week, and then they're also really fast. Like I'm exaggerating, but like the requirements for everyone are a little bit different. Stevie 76 says, "I'm more like a Dodge Stratus." That's better than a Geoprism. So see, we're getting there. We're getting there. Sam's in here on the Rivian. He says, "I got a Sienna hybrid instead of a Rivian last year. I think the Sienna is pretty synonymous with acceptance of midlife. Not sure what Sienna represents as a runner. Practical, steady, unexciting." Yeah. So Sam also says, "How long does the bridge phase last, or is it more individualized?" Well, yeah, it depends on how much time you have because, like there's one guy that I'm working with who's like, "Hey, I just want to get faster. I want to BQ one day. This is what I'm doing. But I got the 3.5-mile test or race that I'm doing. Like, but other than that, I'm good." So it's like, oh, okay. Um, Hypothetically, we would say 4 months, but it really just depends. So you wouldn't want to do. I think they say that you're supposed to do VO2 max work like in a build 8 weeks. Then you're going to start to plateau, and then you switch to a new stimulus. But I would say if something's really working, you should just keep doing that before adding a new stimulus, before like getting eager and saying like, "Hey, let's do this," right? Like if it's working and like you're just like, "Okay, I'm getting faster." There's no need to say like it's up to the runner. If the runner's like, "Okay, hey, you know what? I'm getting a lot faster and I want to convert this to a marathon PR because I know I'm faster than I ever have been. I signed up for a race in 2.5, 3 months. I'm going to hop into a marathon block and then I'm going to go PR and then I'll return to it." If you don't care and you're just like, "I'm just getting faster, I just want to keep doing this," then do it. Bob Stoops, UT Eric will get me. UTOU reference, football, random thing, right? So whenever the University of Texas football team could not stop a particular play from OU, Oklahoma, Bob Soups would do it on repeat until we stopped it. And then sometimes we could just never stop it. And we lost by like 65 points. It was brutal, but it made a lot of sense. You just keep doing the same thing as long as it's working. But then eventually you got to periodize. If you already have a race written down, Twin Cities, could any race, and you're already set for it, you do need a race specific time. So then you would just have to like I would have to reverse engineer it and say, okay, well, you need this much time to train for the marathon. How much time do we have before that? And then let's try to build towards it to get us ready for it. So to see what is feasible or what is doable. Let me see here. Oh yeah, forgot Q&A. Wrong answers only. I only had a couple questions, guys. So get on IG, follow along, and then just send me some questions every day before we do this. You can do this today because I think we're going to do a live stream tomorrow also, just because Co's not doing one around the same time. I only got a couple questions. One was about a midlife runners playlist, like a beginning playlist. I think I wrote this down so I could quote it. All right. As a certified coach, you must have a Spotify midlife bangers only playlist. Am I right? Okay, Rob. My marathon unlock is for the first half, Frank Sinatra, Rat Pack, because they say you want to run in a pack. Depending on what your pace is, you may not have a pack. You listen to the Rat Pack for a good 30K. For the last 12K, you're going to want to switch to some relaxed, slow jazz because you need to run relaxed. And you just put the music on and your shoulders will drop and you'll be able to breathe a little better. So that's my bangers list. Wrong answer only. And then Brandon says, what has been the most fun running experience you've had? Travel trip, workout, etc. When I was growing up, man, you're going to take me back. The authorities got a good tip on our house. And they knew how many kilos were coming in and out of it. So my parents loaded us up. There were 6 of us into a Suburban and we hit the road. And I don't know how we lost him, but we lost him about on the edge of town. And then we saw the lights again. So then we all got out of the Suburban with our backpacks and belongings and teddy bears and stuff. And just like, I had my favorite book at the time, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And we started just running through the woods. Like our lives depended on it. And my dad, he wasn't around a lot in my life, but he was yelling at me to run. And I felt like in that moment, he was my coach. And I felt seen and I felt heard. And we were just running. It turned into an ultra. Like, at first I thought it was a sprint. We thought we were safe. We're just running. I didn't bring my trail shoes. They only had one pair of shoes then. So, but we got to a place in the woods where we felt like we were safe from the authorities. And then we built a campfire. Now it was cold. It was like probably late December. It wasn't quite Christmas yet. And it does get kind of cold here. So we started a fire, but in order to keep it going, I and my little brothers were crying. I had to read them a page from the Sorcerer's Stone. And after every page, I would rip it out and I would put it in the fire to keep our bodies warm. And so and I just want to say like this lesson was materialism. And thank you, Mom. So I just ripped them out and we stayed warm. And that was probably, you know, because they say crowd support, and it's not the quantity, it's the quality. And I had my family with me. So I want to say that was probably the best run of my life, running from the authorities. So anyway, that concludes our wrong answers only. We have a little bit of time for shoe talk. Oh, Lord help us. So if you have any questions, you could throw them in there for wrong answers only, and I'll tackle those tomorrow. So Skechers, they've got a bunch of new bullshit shoes coming out. I'm not sure I'm gonna trust that their speed bump in the middle is completely gone yet. I'm gonna need a lot of because they've reached the status where like everyone's pulling for them, and then all their viewers are gonna be like, "Skechers is back, baby. The Boston is back after the 10 and 11. Oh, the best on cloud yet." Yeah, that doesn't mean it's really good. So, I don't know. I'm gonna hesitate. I'm gonna wait on the Skechers. I ran into Magic Speed 3. I got for $40 off the Sepwell app. I did a threshold run in it. I was like, man, these old school shoes are great. I got a couple of comments. They're like, dude, that shoe came out 2 years ago. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's the last of the old school type of shoe. Like the Brooks Tempo. It's just straight, lightweight, breathable upper, very simple, a bit firm, snappy, responsive. That's what I meant by that. I also did some hill work in the Metaspeed Edge, Paris. And I saw that Ko just posted one on the Edge Tokyo. And I'm going to say that the Metaspeed line is going to get disrespected unintentionally. It's going to get overlooked this year. The Meryl Streep of running shoes. She should have won every year. Coach Pop should win Coach of the Year, like, I don't know, 15 times. But it's like the original Endorphin Speed 1 came out. Just about everybody's top pick of the year. Not everyone, but just about. The second version comes out. It's largely the same. It's on nobody's lists. Everybody's like, yeah, Endorphin Speed 2. It's great. I feel like that's going to happen with the Metaspeed. Like, the Metaspeed Edge Paris was my favorite shoe last year. You get 210 miles in it. I just did some hills in it. But I was thinking, like, when I do my top 3 shoes, I'm not sure it's on the list this year. So if I'm going to run in it, the Tokyo, it's just I feel like it's going to get taken for granted. That's what I mean. So, I love the Zoom Fly 6. It's between that and the Mach X2 for some threshold miles tomorrow. And I'll probably do the Mach X2 because I haven't done a threshold in it yet, but I really want to reach for that. I know that Joanna wasn't a huge fan of that, originally calling it the Glue Fly bricks. They're not bricky for me. I like that. I don't know what it's called, SQ2, some sort of foam that Nike's using in that one. I like it. And the plate versus the pods. Guys, Cielo X1 2.0. I sent it off. I said it was too big. It was half size too big. I'm switching with the guy on the Supple app. I'm going to get the Audios Pro 4. Very excited about that. In the Saga, is it Saga or Saga? I feel like I should know that answer. It's got to be Saga, right? Because Sega. No, we didn't say Sega. Saga. The Saga continues. I bought a pair of Audios 9 off of someone from the Supwell app, and it was coming from the Northeast, and they never showed up. And then I went to the post office, and I was like, "It's not saying that it's missing. It's just in transit somewhere." And it never showed up. Like 3 weeks later, and then I thought it went back, and then it started moving through the network. Then it went to Fort Worth to a distribution center. Then I guess they're all figuring it out. It's been over a month. And as of June 4th, it's arrived in a regional facility in San Antonio again. So we have hope. We have hope that the Audios 9 one day. And I told the guy who sent it, he was like, I could do a refund. I was like, listen, man, let's just hold on. Let's just see what happens with it. Because if they do show up, I'm going to get on my knees. I'm going to say a little prayer of gratitude. And I'm going to thank God every day for these shoes that made it. You know, it's like if we weren't able to have children and by some miracle we had children and that baby was crying, I would be like, those tears of joy, that crying. So I don't, I mean, I don't, the audio sign doesn't even have to be good. I'm just going to be glad it made it if they arrive at my door. Cause I heard they're not being sold in the US market. So that's it. Like their December run was it. I'm trying to burst. Okay. I'm trying to burst. You know, well, I don't need to burst in the Audios 9, but I really want to. So, and the Neo Vista 2 V2, guys, I cannot run in that shoe. It is way too big, wide, long, baggy. My foot slides all over the place. But the kind people of Mizuno are sending me an 8.5, which is half size down. So I'm going to give it a fair shake and I'm going to give it a fair run. I don't know when they're coming in, but I'm going to have to we're going to have to see. It's going to be like take 2 on the Neo Vista V2. So if you're looking at the Neo Vista V2, you're going to have to go down a half size. I would recommend. Stevie76 says Kevin Spacey is looking for a running coach. I cannot deny nor confirm that. Guys, there's a Kevin Spacey story. I don't know if I said that in the live stream on the other channel back when I had the other channel before I was doing them all here. There is a I was on the set of A Life of David Gale, and the short story is like Kevin Spacey hit on me. I was 20 years old at the time. I didn't know he was gay. I had only watched American Beauty, and thing is he was married in most of all the movies he's in, so I'm not like ready for it. He's giving me one of these numbers and the whole thing. It's a whole story. We don't have time for it today, but yeah. Rich P's in here. By the way, happy Global Running Day, everyone. Enjoy your runs today. Guys, I can't believe I forgot to mention this. I got selected as an ambassador for this SATX marathon and half marathon. So I'm going to be around town promoting this event. And I'm very excited for that. I'm going to switch to the half. I'm signed up for the full, but it's the first week of December. It's usually the same weekend as CIM. It's going to be the weekend after the running event comes to San Antonio. Oh, Nicholas is in here with some facts. The selling point for your Garmin plan is it takes into account your biometrics, i.e., resting heart rate, HRV, sleep quality, etc., to supposedly fine-tune your workouts based on your recovery along with your perceived effort. Wow, that's awesome. That's very intuitive. I heard the case against Whoop many years ago was like, okay, Whoop, I wake up, it's accurate. It tells me I need to take a day off. Okay. I'm going to go for a run because I like to run. We'll see. I feel fine. Amazing, though, that my HRV was low, and this is my Koros on Sunday, and I did not feel good in that run. My HRV was fantastic yesterday before my 400R. I want to say if R repeats because R stands for repeats, and I nailed those. So, and then I don't know about you, but like anytime I have a good workout, I take the average of all my splits, then I plug it into the VDOT calculator, and then I'm like, yeah, I can do all these things that it says. Oh yeah, 400 mile pace. That's I don't even know what it is, like a 242 marathon. I could totally run a 242. False. I cannot. Not right now, anyway. Nicholas says, all that said, it has a lot of flaws, the Garmin plan, but it is better than nothing. And I definitely agree on that. So All right. Stevie76 says playlist sailing takes me away to where I've always heard it could be. Damn, Starbucks is here with the push notification. Man, they're really good. I don't even remember signing up for that. I don't even know how. It's like when U2 uh, forced their song onto everybody's iPod back in the day. That's like Starbucks. They're like, I don't even drink coffee. But I see that you guys have strawberry cake pops right now. Uh, Juan Garcia says, if you run with your phone on person, I recommend downloading Mixcloud for all types of free mixes. You got a oh well, they're free. I was gonna say you got a code one code we can put in midlife 10% off. uh JBS says my next race is a 13.1 beach race in Kilkerry, Ireland. Should be fun. You got to give thanks. We give thanks and praise. I grew up Catholic. We had a lot of Irish priests. No pay school, just a bit of fun with Old Man Runner from Dublin. Old Man Runner. No, I'm thinking of Global Runner. I finally watched a Global Runner video. He was like aged 50, 230 guy. I never clicked on his videos before. So I can't relate. But yeah, I finally watched one of those. I gotta check out Old Man Runner. All right. Was it Gojira's Magma album for the last 10K of any distance, says Eric Paramount. Frank's in here with a take on Skechers. He said, I was disappointed in the Razor 5. It's not a race shoe at all. It's okay as a daily as long as you're okay with the arch fit thing. Okay, here, it definitely heel striker shoe. It's the arch fit. That's the thing with where it's got a bump in the middle. Now, Mizuno kind of has a little bit of that speed bump in the middle, but in the Wave Rebellion Pro 2, it's so soft and light you almost don't even feel it, and it's fantastic. The foam that they use in the 3, this XP foam, it's a little more dense. It has like the on cloud helium or whatever that's called kind of rebound. So it's bouncier. And it also is really good. In fact, I prefer the Wave Rebellion Pro 3 over the Hoka Cielo X1 2.0 because of the bounce of the foam. But the arch, it doesn't bother me. Now, in these new shoes, now, guys, I love Skechers. Skechers was like one of my go-to 2020. I don't even remember the names of all of the shoes, but I got them. They were super lightweight. They were very plasticky. In fact, when Puma launched and started coming around, I feel like they picked up where Skechers was headed. With the nitrogen infused foam, they were lightweight, they were bouncy, kind of plasticky. Like the Puma Liberate Nitro 1 was a very fun shoe. It's very minimal, but still bouncy. They should have turned that shoe into like a Street Flyer Takumi competitor. If I were Puma, that's what I would do. Anyway, the Go Run series. There was a Go Run ride that Kafuzi mentioned on there. That was like a bigger one. The 8. I ran in the 8. I really liked that shoe. That was really good when I was a newbie. But a lot of them were like very race, the hyper speed, something like that. They were very race oriented. They're very fun. I liked that. But I know that now they're coming back. They're like rebranding. They're heavier. They've got a lot of stuff going on. They said that the arch fit is there was a keyword like fine-tuned arch fit. Like it was like arch fit redux. Okay, like that. I think they got the feedback that it was not very pleasant of an experience on the Max rides and all those other shoes that Skechers are coming out with the arch fit, and I think that they tried to change it a little bit to make it. But I'm gonna need some convincing. It's a heavy shoe. I'm just gonna let them work through it, I think. Philip Watt says, "You wanna love the Skechers Aero Tempo for faster paces. Unfortunately, according to Believe in the Run, their performance running line is only available online, not available in stores." Yeah, I don't know, man. I like Believe in the Run used to be a channel that I always watched with all of the drops on any shoe to really learn about it. And I don't want to say that they're out of touch because they still run in all these shoes and they're very positive about a lot of them. They are honest with shoes that they don't like, but like when they were talking about the Rebel series, and I was like, that wasn't my experience at all. I don't know. So I don't go to them as much as I used to when I first got into running. So but I'm not talking trash or anything. I just let's see. Tony Brinkman says my Audios Pro 4 that I ordered from over the pond at Start Fitness has been sitting and left customs in Chicago since Saturday 7:30. No movement since. Oh my god. Oh guys, it's 111. Man, this thing just carried on. Woo! Squirrel brain. Well, Tony, I hope those Audios Pro 4 show up. It's scary to just watch it on the screen, just like go to the next stop, to the next stop. And then it was like, I saw it go away from San Antonio. And that's when I reached out to the seller and I was like, hey, man, I think these are heading back to you. And then it went back up there and then it went back down to Dallas and then it went back down to San Antonio. Maybe I'll run the Audios 9. Maybe I won't. Guys, if you are interested in signing up for the San Antonio SATX marathon or half marathon, I don't have a code. There's no midlife 10 yet or whatever, but it's on sale this weekend. You should totally do that. If you are looking for a coach, hit your boy up, strideandshine.com. We got the website and everything. We can talk more about it. Hop on a call. I appreciate you guys sticking around for 72 minutes. We just covered everyone's almost medium long run today. So we'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to just put one up tomorrow and we'll talk about shoes till the end of time. All right. Thanks for guys.